TV.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Out of the Fog. I'm your host, Laurabel, and on today's episode we're talking about some two hot button topics, but in a really community focused way. We get the chance to chat with Kate Cadigan of Equal Voice NL, and we also get to talk to Sarah White of LifeWise. So sit back, relax, and we'll get right to it. Welcome back, everyone. I'm now joined by Kate Cadigan, who is the chair of Equal Voice NL. Kate, thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's been a while since you've been here.
Yes, a couple of years.
And things have changed.
Yeah, lots have changed.
So last time we had you here, it was for the future of the vote. Now you are the chair of Equal Voice NL. So for our viewers who maybe this is the first time hearing about Equal Voice and getting to meet you, what's Equal Voice and who are you?
Yeah, so my name's Kate Cadigan and I'm the chair of Equal Voice Newfoundland and Labrador, which is a nonprofit organization that works to promote women and gender diverse individuals in all levels of politics. So that includes municipal politics, provincial, federal, and also band council leadership. Okay. Majority of our programming focuses on education, along with a lot of advocacy surrounding breaking barriers that prevent women and gender diverse folks from being involved in politics.
Okay, so why is this important?
Oh, there's so many reasons why this is important. I feel like this is a loaded question. This is a big question. Well, number one, we need diversity at decision-making tables. You know, a bunch of research shows that better policies are made when we have diverse voices making them. You know, economic policy, social policy, the things that matter to us as voters all improve when we have diverse voices making those decisions. Mm-hmm. Right now, Canada, we're sitting federally around 30% of our House of Commons is held by women, very low. Here in the province, we're at 23%, which is the lowest in the country.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of work to be done to reach gender parity, gender equity in politics. But it's not as easy as just putting your name forward and getting elected. There are a lot of barriers that get in the way of that.
So as an organization, Equal Voice NL is there supporting women who are choosing to run and kind of doing that advocacy. In the process of that work, what have you found as an organization are some of the barriers that stop women when we're looking at the political landscape?
Yeah, I look at it in two different ways. There's the systemic barriers, and then there's also internal barriers, if you will. So systemic barriers include unfair electoral systems, financial barriers, networking opportunities, and those compounded together can make it really difficult. And then on the other side, we have internal barriers. So historically, we've seen political spaces filled predominantly by men and men from the same backgrounds. So we have kind of been conditioned to believe that that is what makes a good leader. Okay. Research done by Equal Voice has shown that most women who are interested in maybe entering the political field don't because they don't feel like they know enough and that they're the right leader, which we know is not true as we see so many capable, knowledgeable women and gender diverse people already leading in our province in the community sector, nonprofit sector, business sector, and all those skills are transferable into politics.
Okay, so those are like, as you're saying that, I'm like nodding the whole time because as someone who's worked in the community sector, a lot of not-for-profit organizations are led by women. The not-for-profit industry is heavily women run, and that is the industry doing a lot of the on-the-ground grassroots work. So I always wonder why it struggles to transfer into our political landscape. So it's interesting that you brought that up. So as we look at the political landscape currently, we have a federal election that is ongoing currently.
Yes.
Here in Newfoundland and Labrador, we have a leadership race, and then we are scheduled to have a provincial election this year and a municipal election this year. People listening, like, that's
It's a lot.
a lot of elections coming on this year. And even if we look at the candidates running, it's still heavily male. So what is Equal Voice doing right now, Equal Voice Newfoundland and Labrador, to advocate for more women to be in this landscape?
Yeah, absolutely. So we offer programming through Equal Voice to help encourage women and gender diverse folks to put their name forward. One example of a program that we offer, it's called Campaign College, which gives community leaders, folks interested in politics, the opportunity to learn about what it takes to run a campaign. So that's often the first step. If you don't know how to run a campaign, you're most likely not going to try.
Absolutely.
So this is a really great opportunity for anybody looking to learn more about elections, what's needed, how to build your team, what do the finances look like, how do you canvass, how do you door knock, all those things. I'm really excited though. We actually just released a new fund in partnership with Breakwater Books, Memorial University Press, and the Community Foundation of Newfoundland and Labrador. And this fund is in honor of the 100th anniversary of women gaining the right to vote here on the island of Newfoundland. And this fund is created to support women and gender diverse individuals looking to further their leadership skills so that saying yes to politics is a little bit easier.
Okay.
Because sometimes we know the only thing standing in between a leader and political leadership is just a little bit of support to get started.
And so with this fund, what does support look like?
Support can look like a bunch of things. There's some amazing leadership development programs offered here in the province, such as the campaign schools, but also through outside organizations that we really encourage people to take advantage of if they're interested in any kind of leadership, but specifically political leadership. This could mean wraparound supports for attending a conference. We know for women who have children or might be taking care of other people in their life, sometimes it can be difficult to carve out that time to kind of further your own skills. So that's another way that this fund might be able to help those who are looking to take that next step.
And so for our viewers right now who are listening and this has piqued their interest level, where do they find out more about this fund?
Yeah, so the fund is available on our social media sites, so at NL Equal Voice on Instagram and Equal Voice Newfoundland and Labrador on Facebook.
Okay, so they'll be able to find out all the details about what gets covered, how to apply, on all those details.
Yes, absolutely, and applications will be opening soon. Right now we're just trying to build the fund up where it is 100% donor sponsored.
Okay, that's super cool. So technically this year is 100 years since women on the island got the right to vote.
Yes.
How does that feel for an organization that is working to increase the representation of women and gender diverse individuals in the political landscape?
It's a tricky one for me because, of course, it's a massive milestone and deserves to be recognized appropriately. But also, I kind of look at it as a taking off point for where are we going to go within the next 100 years. As I previously mentioned, we're 69th in the world for gender parity in politics. We have a long way to go before organizations like ours will be happy with where we are.
Okay.
So I think that this milestone and this anniversary should kind of be taken as a little bit of motivation for political leaders, current political leaders, parties, and folks in the community to take a look at who are we voting for? Why are we voting for them? How can this change? How could we be better from this change? Because I know I want to see more growth within the next 100 years.
And so for our viewers who are watching right now, the women, the gender diverse individuals, even the men in their lives who want to see gender parity in the political landscape, who are sitting here and being like, they are frightened about what the political world looks like right now. What is something you would like them to know?
I would say it's okay to be scared. Right now, the political scene is a little scary. I mean, there's a lot happening federally, provincially. On top of that, there's a municipal election in October. But I would just encourage people to do your research, form your own opinions, and also know that your voice matters, whether that's through voting, helping out on a campaign, running yourself. you can make a difference in your community. And if you don't like the things that are happening and want to see things change, you have the power to add to that change.
I really like that when you were talking, you talked about not just voting and running, but supporting on a campaign, because a lot of people don't think about that as being involved in the political process. And that's still something that we don't see a lot of women still involving themselves in.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm encouraging this election cycle with 3 elections this year. I'm really encouraging vote and. So vote and donate to a campaign, vote and volunteer, vote and share a social media post. Not everyone's gonna wanna be in the spotlight, and that's okay. But there are ways to get involved behind the scenes to help support people that you believe in, and it can make that difference.
And so we're going to go back a little bit to the vote part and the end.
Yes.
A lot of people sometimes are struggling with voter apathy and not even wanting to go and cast their ballot. Why do you think it's important for people, especially in this time, to be politically engaged?
I think the 100th anniversary, again, is a good reminder of, especially for women and gender diverse folks, we worked very hard for this right 100 years ago, and we should honor those who fought for it. And exercising your democratic right of voting is one way to do that. Voter apathy is a real thing, especially in busy times like now, and where the political landscape is quite tumultuous. But again, if these are issues that you care about, you need to be acting on them. You need to follow, your complaints and your passion with action. And voting is the best avenue to do that. Connecting with your candidate, looking up their platform, making an informed vote will lead to the outcomes, or might lead to outcomes that you like. If not, you know that you gave your input.
Okay. Yes, and absolutely. Yes, again, for our viewers who are interested in finding out more about Equal Voice and more about the work you do and how to get in contact with you, where do they need to go to find this information?
Yeah, absolutely. So they can visit our social media pages, NL Equal Voice on Instagram, or Equal Voice Newfoundland and Labrador on Facebook. But you can also send us an email at nl@equalvoice.ca, and I would be happy to help get you involved, support you in any way that you need as you kind of figure out your leadership journey.
That's so great to hear. And so, Kate, I want to thank you for, coming to chat with us, for all the work Equal Voice is doing here in Newfoundland and Labrador to support women and gender diverse individuals who are looking at politics and saying, maybe me, maybe now, tell me how. And trying to navigate that. If there's one last message you want to leave people with, what would it be today?
I would say, follow your words with action in a world that sometimes feels a little hectic and chaotic. Action is very meaningful, and connecting with others and spreading your message of, whatever that may be, can make a difference, and your voice is valued.
Owen, thank you so much for taking your time in your very busy schedule to come and chat with me.
Thanks, Laurabel.
And we'll be right back, everyone.
Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better.
This is Rogers TV. You're watching Rogers TV St. John's.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm now joined by Sarah White, who is the Provincial Operations Manager with LifeWise. Sarah, thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Laurabel.
I'm so excited to have you here because exciting things are going on in the mental health sector on a provincial level, but also especially cool because it's really local to us, where we live and we get to be. So the Mental Health and Addictions new hospital is opening relatively soon.
On Sunday. It's the big day.
It's such a big day. But there's something very cool that is happening within that space. But before we get into all of that, let's introduce our audience to you and LifeWise.
Absolutely. So I'm Sarah White, the Provincial Operations Manager for LifeWise. I've had the pleasure of being with LifeWise for about 2.5 years now, and it has been an incredible journey. LifeWise was founded in 1989 by a number of folks with lived experience, and their primary role was to advocate for change within the mental health and addiction system. They're folks who had had faced barriers. Fast forward to 2022, it was originally named Channel when folks founded it, and fast forward to 2022, we were rebranded to LifeWise, originally starting as a volunteer group who then went to a group of 8 individuals, to a group of 15 individuals, to now, by the end of, I don't know, the next couple of months, we're going to be up to 61 folks, and 53 of those folks are frontline peer supporters.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a lot of growth in that time.
It's pretty wild. Yeah, it's been a busy couple of years.
That is so cool to have. Like, that's so cool to know, especially considering the way your organization approaches supporting individuals struggling with their mental health.
Absolutely. We are still a lived experience organization first, and our mission is to inspire hope and reduce stigma. We do that on 3 pillars. We have our peer support, which we're most known for, public education, policy consultation, and advocacy. We're really proud of all those, and we do all of that not just at a provincial level, but at a national level as well.
Wow.
And our team members are literally spread between St. John's all the way to Happy Valley Goose Bay, and they're embedded in a variety of different teams.
So that's really great to know that it is provincial reach, and it is not just in English, but you also have a French language line, and like you fully embody making sure that you are as accessible to any individual struggling at any point in time.
Absolutely.
So now we're going to the super exciting news. Not that that amount of growth in such a short time isn't amazing, but with the opening of the new mental health and addictions hospital, something cool got instituted. What is that?
Absolutely. So at the old Waterford Hospital, we've had one peer supporter supporting the entire hospital for a number of years now. It's been phenomenal. They meet people where they're at as people are coming in through the PAU, the psychiatric emergency room, and then as people are on short stay, but we haven't really been able to make long-time connections within, say, geriatrics, forensics, short stay, acute care, all of those places. One person can only do so much in a big hospital. So we were thrilled that upon the announcement of the new Mental Health and Addiction Center, we were also offered the opportunity to have 8 peer supporters in this new hospital. So we will have individuals that are dedicated to every unit on the hospital. Some spaces will have 2 peer supporters.
Okay.
And of course, the psychiatric emergency room will continue to have a peer support presence as well. And then what we will see happen there is we're really building up people's social connections, ensuring that people are even more connected when they leave, and we're meeting people where they are. So as I said, LifeWise is a lived experience organization first. So every single member of our team, from board directors, leadership, right on down, everybody has lived experience of mental health and or addictions or substance use challenges. When we hire people, we really ensure they have the specific lived experience of the folks they're going to be supporting, because we want to be able to meet people where they are. And what that does is when someone goes into what is called the PAU, the psychiatric emergency room, they will meet a peer supporter, and the peer supporter will be able to talk to them about what's going to happen, what they can expect, wait times, maybe offer some water, a blanket, whatever is needed. And then the beautiful thing is they can talk to them about the time that they themselves were in the PAU, the time that they walked in and the first time they sat down to get help, and how scary that was. And then what that immediately does is this person who's now been very highly anxious is looking at the person next to them going, wait, you were once in this chair and now you're the person employed to support me. So immediately it reduces anxiety, it inspires hope that recovery is possible. It's a journey, but it is absolutely possible, and it looks different for each person. And that the place that the person is in, because the Mental Health and Addiction Center has employed so many folks with lived experience, that it's an inclusive space, it's a safe space. So not only are the individuals who are working there wanting to support the patients who come in, but they are engaging with people with lived experience to learn how to do differently, to learn how to meet people with compassion and empathy, and even have a little bit of a different perspective. Because the work that the folks do there is so incredibly hard and so heavy. So that's another big place that peer supporters play, is that we support the staff as well. So while we get the privilege of leading with our lived experience, we know that at least 50% of the team members that are working within the new mental health and addiction center also have their own lived experience. They just can't share it. And they aren't able to share it because maybe their profession, they're not able to share it with the people they're engaging with, but they can share that with a peer supporter, and the peer supporter can support them in finding new connections as well. So it's really beautiful. It's breaking down lots of barriers.
Like, I'm gonna take a second here, because like I was really excited about this on the end of like people going in to look for support, getting help from the peer supporter. I didn't even think about the fact that the peer supporter doesn't just help those coming in, but those working in the sector
Absolutely.
too. And that's a space that people typically forget that individuals would need support going through. So this addition of 8 new peer supporters in every department within the Mental Health and Addiction Center now reaches more people than I even anticipated it would when we started this conversation.
Absolutely. And I mean, we always think about like who helps the helpers.
Yeah.
Also, the peer supporters are there for family members. Oftentimes family are so nervous. They know their loved one is unwell and they may not know how to help. So meeting someone who has been through that journey and can speak to it and even relieve their anxiety really helps the entire family unit. The cooler thing that we've been able to do with all of this, because it actually gets even bigger, is because we've expanded so much, we've done it very, it's been very planned, it's been with purpose, and so we have kind of developed what we've been lightly calling connections to care. So when somebody is in the Mental Health and Addiction Center, whether they're the PAU or they're at short stay or an acute stay, one of the pieces is always, trying to connect people with supports when they leave. Because LifeWise has so many team members and so many vast places, so within all the flexible assertive community treatment teams, the opioid dependency treatment teams, doorways, a variety of community partners, when somebody is leaving, and we have the provincial warm line as well, when somebody is leaving, if they know maybe another service they will be taking part in their community, that could be on the West Coast, it could be in Labrador, it could be in Central, we can say like, oh, we have a coworker who works there. Like, if you're thinking about reaching out, would you like us to support you in making that soft touch? So it's that soft connection. They've had experience with multiple LifeWise peer supporters in this inpatient space. And now they know they can go home where they are and they can continue to receive the same type of support as they did in the hospital. So it really does bridge the spaces where people are going to be able to socialize, make connections, grow, meet more people who are like-minded. And that's what the healing journey is about.
We thought it was cool with just the inpatient support. But the biggest struggle a lot of people face is what happens when I leave this safe, this controlled environment and I have to get back in community. Yeah. Who's going to be there to help navigate that transition and that adjustment? And it's so cool to know that because LifeWise is so large and it's in every nook and cranny of this province, that this connection of healing gets to continue when you're back in your own space. And you don't have to start basically from the get-go all over again. Exactly,
and because the Mental Health and Addiction Center is provincial in scope and LifeWise is provincial in scope, it works very, very well.
Okay, so now that for our viewers who are watching, who are hearing this for the first time, who are like maybe now breathing a sigh of relief that, okay, if I end up here, I'm not just stuck here, and there will be people who have walked this path before, not just in this controlled environment, but out in community. This is probably relieving a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety that individuals are probably going through.
Absolutely, and we've seen it happen within our systems already. So we see individuals who may be connected with Stella's Circle, who may want to connect to Thrive supports, and because we have peer supporters in those areas, they're able to do that soft connect, and they're like, well, I know so-and-so at Stella's and I have a great relationship with them, so I trust that I'll have a great relationship with this person. Additionally, when somebody goes to the opioid dependency treatment team, sometimes they will be accessing harm reduction team as well, and we have individuals in both of those teams, so we can also do that soft handover. We also have individuals who work at the Transitional Housing Initiative at 106 Horizons, so if somebody is there and wants to access maybe some supports within community or within healthcare, we can make that soft connection that way too. So wherever anybody is, we have team members there, so of course the support you're going to get from one person is going to differ a little bit to another person, but we all have the same core values and we all have the same peer support training, so there's going to be so many similarities that you're gonna make that connection.
Okay, I got you for about like 1 more minute. So for our viewers watching and listening, if you could leave them with one thing to comfort them as the world expands, being what it is, and if they ever end up needing to reach the services of the Mental Health and Addiction Center, what would it be?
We're here. We're here. The team is there. The team is committed. And by the team, I mean every person working at that Mental Health and Addiction Center is committed to supporting folks. One thing we didn't talk about with the Mental Health and Addiction Center is they now have Main Street. So they're embedding art therapy, music therapy, recreational therapy, horticultural therapy. It can all be accessed while you're taking part in inpatient services. So it really is a place to go and get well. And we're really, really excited. The folks leading the way on this are absolute champions in every way, and we couldn't be prouder to be partners.
Sarah, thank you so much for taking your time to chat with me today. I know this interview, this conversation is going to relieve a lot of stress for individuals and let them know that they're well taken care of when they walk in through those doors.
Thank you, Laurabel.
And we'll be right back, everyone. I want to thank all of you for tuning in yet again. I always love getting to share time and space with you. I want to give a very special thank you to my guest, Kate Cadigan of Equal Voice NL, for talking to us about the importance of getting women and gender diverse individuals involved in the political landscape. And a very special thank you to Sarah White of LifeWise for talking to us about what is going on with the new Mental Health and Addiction Center here in the province. Can't wait to see you all again next time.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We want to hear from you. Provide feedback on this show or find out how you can get involved. Call, email us, or scan the QR code to take our quick survey.
This is a man's heart, a heart in desperate need of medical attention. But because 78% of Indigenous people experience racism in healthcare, he may not get the help he needs. Become an ally. Rise above racism in healthcare.
I was born and raised in Musqueam First Nation territory by my mother, who spoke Hunkaminam to me. As a child, I ceased using my mother tongue, as to use any language other than English was considered not being Canadian, so I was told. The old people came to me in a dream and reminded me of who I am and where I come from. I have reawakened. My roots are strong, and I'm no longer a silent speaker. My language tells me where I'm from. It defines me and guides me to teach others to learn and understand our culture and traditions. A gift for those in the present and the unborn generations. What was lost is found. What was asleep has awakened. My blood is here, and I am complete. I have returned home.
Looking for the best way to get the Major League Baseball games you want to watch? Rogers